Good morning from Palo Verde on the Colorado River in Cibola National Wildlife Refuge. Say that 10 times. Anyway, we spent our second night, I guess, back in California. It was a very nice camping spot. It's $15 a night here. You have this little cul-de-sac kind of area, I guess, where you can park, or over here by the lake, or you can park over by the river on the other side. We opted for the lake area because we wanted to go kayaking last night. Cell phone service. Let's talk about that for a minute. It left a wee bit to be desired here. So if you must have cell phone or internet, I recommend coming on the weekend when you don't need it,
or bring a booster.
Or yeah, you have to have a booster for AT&T and Verizon. AT&T worked better than Verizon did here. Like, I was sitting on top of the booster practically with my phone from Verizon, and during the day I made a whole bunch of calls, and then in the evening nothing. It would just say calling, and then the call would fail. It drove me nuts. The other weird thing was, depending on where we stood in the motorhome, the time zone would change on our phone because we're right on the California-Arizona border. So it's kind of funny. If I was sitting up in the front of the RV, I was on Arizona time, but if I'd go sit back at the table, I'd pop over to California time. Went for an amazing kayak last night. Beautiful sunset. Went for a walk after dinner, took the dogs out and got them some exercise. And all in all, aside from the cell phone issues, really cool place to stay. So today we're headed for Glamis. We're meeting friends there this evening. Well, you guys will recognize them. If you go back and check out our video on taking kids fishing in Alaska, their beautiful model-like children are in our video. And so it's Christine and Russ and their kiddos. And we just adore these people. We're so excited to see them. It's been since last summer since we saw them. The road's getting rough. And we just have a really fun weekend planned. We're gonna go ATVing, play with the kids, make some good food, visit, catch up. People watch, yeah, because Glamis, people come out with their crazy souped up sand toys. So I've been hearing about this place for 11 years. We used to drive by it all the time to visit family in Yuma. Winter Haven in just west of Yuma is the southern tip of the Glamis sand dunes. So I've seen them, but I've never been to them. So it should be a really fun day. We got up, got an early start to get the heck out of bad cell phone service range. And we're just anxious to get on over to Glamis, get a really good spot picked out before everybody gets off work on Friday. And wait for Russ and Christine to get here.
I'm trying to get Rebecca psyched up for our window to go into Mexico by playing some Mexican music today. I don't know about you, but I love the stuff, especially some good old mariachi music. Yeah, I just have so many fond memories of going into Mexico, and once I cross the border, I'll change the radio station.
The very first time you went to Mexico, after we started dating, you blared your Mexican music in my driveway in California, Central Coast, California, hundreds of miles from the border.
Waved goodbye.
Yeah, you did. You left me there. take our toys or whatever. I'm just saying thoughtful consideration has to be made about where we're going and what towns we're going to go through and how we're going to get there and how we're going to make sure that we stay safe. And I will admit, having lived in Alaska now for nearly a decade, I'm used to always being well protected. And when you cross international borders, that's not necessarily an option. So, like I say, we go to Mexico every time we come to San Diego. We've traveled down to Zihuatanejo since everything has started with the cartels. And so I'm not afraid to go there at all. But there's traveling smart, so we just have to be thoughtful about the process that we use to approach this and make the best, safest decision. And that's her perspective.
His perspective is similar but slightly different. I've done many road trips into Mexico from California. There's a certain level of comfort. I know when you want to be on the roads and when you don't want to be on the roads. For example, the most thugs, criminals, people of that nature, they stay up really, really late and tend to drink. So given that, when would be the best time of day to be on the road? Right around 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Because you know what? They're sleeping that buzz off. So that is one tip that I always try to live by when traveling into Mexico. But you can't always control that one. I've also left after work from San Diego, reached the border at 8 o'clock, and reached our destination around midnight. Of course, that was in my younger, more adventurous years. And I will agree, not having our certain kinds of protection that we're used to is a bit uneasy. I don't know. I feel fairly comfortable with it. I'm not necessarily worried about our motorhome breaking down because, shoot, it's had tons of opportunities to break down on this trip. And I think any vehicle out there is prone to breaking down. A modern vehicle will just have more modern problems. So I also don't like to, give in to fear. And I know at the same time, there's tempting fate. We've had many ideas on how we're going to go into Mexico. We thought just a day trip into Tijuana from San Diego. We've also thought about going to our timeshare in Rosarito Beach, which is about an hour or so below the border. We've talked about visiting our family's place down in just south of San Quintin, and that's about 4 or 5 hours below the border. Just this week, we came up with the bright idea of maybe we'll go to San Felipe. It's at the top of the Gulf of California, and neither of us have been there before, which is something I really do value, new experience for both of us, because if we do all that stuff on the Pacific side, been there, done that. So I was doing a little research. To get to San Felipe from San Diego, we would need to drive into Tijuana or cross through Tecate and head down a little ways and then head east. Or we can just stay in the United States and drive about 2 hours down east, down the Interstate 8, and then go into through Mexicali and then head about 2.5 hours below the border. One straight shot. And I'm thinking that's not that bad of an idea. So what do you guys think? And obviously, by the time you see this video, we will have gone into Mexico already, so I don't even know why I'm asking that. But yeah, hey, just rambling on for the morning. We are working our way towards Glamis, going through these rolling hills. We have reached the Glamis Beach store, and we need to buy another buggy whip because that one I bought was a two-piecer, and somewhere in Quartzsite the top piece came off. Kind of a bummer, but it was only like a $9 whip, so I'm hoping they're about the same price here. Just like our stay at Palo Verde, it's been about 16 years since I've been here.
You have all this stuff in here for Leslie?
You know, I can't remember like the murals, but I definitely remember all the picnic benches. All right, we picked up what we needed and we're back on the road heading towards our camping area, which is going to be off of Gecko Road. We have made it. Here's our campsite, and there's room ahead of us for Russ and Christine. And then look at our view right out our window there, the dunes. Time to get camp set up.